if you are the kind of person who is super anxious and doesn't know a way, or maybe you know what you want to get into but you still get everything done, like I'm saying, like join 50 clubs in high school, attend every single member meeting, basically never have time for your friends, or like just hustle in every single side hustle that you've known, I think you should reconsider some of the things. Happy Saturday! Oh my gosh! I think it's almost a month of me doing this vlog videos for this episode series, and I am super excited. 7 of you have joined me here, and it's a huge deal for me. But that's all for my introduction. You guys know who I am. I'm Ash. I talk about college, career, and self-growth, all the untraditional things that I'm doing in my life to be successful and never stop the growth hustle, which is what I like to call, because I have figured that a lot of you don't realize the difference between hustling and actually working towards growing into whatever it is that you want to achieve. So that's what we're going to be talking about here. I'm going to explain the differences now. I'll get right into it because I do not like to waste any time when it comes to my success. I graduated high school, I graduated with honors, I graduated with almost perfect GPA and very little clubs. Now, before you come at me, let me tell you, I still got an internship and a paid assistantship coming up my first year of college. And that is not because I joined multiple clubs or my resume was full of member of this, member of that, member of here, this many volunteer opportunities. I did not volunteer at all. And it's not for any personal reason. I love giving back, but it's because I simply couldn't do it in high school. I don't have transportation. I didn't have the means to go and volunteer. But to say that as someone with very little extracurricular experience in my high school, I still got internships and assistantships on my table even before I've started my college journey. Because I'm just starting out and I already have things secured. I got my assistantship finalized the first month I joined college. And this is not to brag, but this is to tell you that quality over quantity. The clubs that I was part of and the programs that I was part of, I have given it my all in those programs. I have brought my insights, I have held events, I have managed teams, I have managed social media, whatever it is, because that was my pathway. And because all of the things that I did aligned with what I then wanted to be or the field that I wanted to go in, I had a lot to say when opportunities came by. And if you want to know how to get the opportunities, I would suggest you watch some of my previous videos on how to get into opportunities. I will make a video very going in depth about how to approach opportunities and how to find them, but that's for another video. You can, in the meantime, gain insight from some of my other videos where I talk about how to network properly. You can also check out my TikTok at Escape. It's the same account handle as my YouTube. I share a lot of in-depth tips and everything on there, so if you're interested, follow me on TikTok as well. So far, 29 of you have joined me there, and I'm super grateful for that. So as I was talking about quality over quantity, the clubs that I was joining were first thing in my field. So the thing that I wanted to do was marketing. I was making sure that every single club I was interested in, even if I was not the social media manager of that club, I offered my insight on how to grow it. Why? Because even if I don't have the title, I can put it in my resume when it works. Or I can put how many ideas I have. And not to mention, those things can actually just give you experience or insight on what you want to do and what's working or what's not working. The thing was, I'm so lucky, so blessed, my school offered a customized marketing program, which of course your girl was part of because that's where she found her passion for marketing, her love for marketing. But to say that even in that thing, I made sure that I showed up to every pitch event, every business opportunity. We also had the opportunity to start our own businesses, and I made sure I gave it my all, coming in the top 10 business pitches during the year that I was starting a business. So it's not really about how many programs you join or how many clubs you have number wise. Like, you can be parts of 50 clubs, but if you're barely known in those clubs, why are you even there? What are you getting by sitting in the meetings that someone else is leading, that someone else is organized, that someone else is sponsoring? When you're not even doing anything, they're feeding off you. They're feeding off your experience, or they're feeding off your presence. You need to be present in places that you put in value to and that give you value back. So it's not really going to be in your benefit to have multiple things where you have literally no value coming in toward you for you to put something valuable in your resume. So just quit it. I don't think it's necessary for you to join. And not to mention the stress that comes with managing 50 clubs and attending every single meeting. I don't know why you're doing that. There's a lot of evidence with me and things working out slowly for me instead of me trying to rush things and then expect great results. Now, of course, this is not necessarily true for everything, because if you do Pilates, you're gonna see results in a month, but that's a different story. I'm talking about career and college growth, and this is something you have to give time. This is something that you have to dedicate gaining experience in, and you cannot rush it out. 1 month of experience is always going to be lowered or less valued compared to a year of experience. And that is just straight up truth. You may have heard that a lot of people are preferring experience over education. And in some ways, I agree. Education you don't need in some fields. But if you are into fields like STEM, medicine, something very, very related to someone's life or technology, it's pretty much a good idea to pay attention in those classes and not cheat. Please do not cheat if you're going to be my future doctor. But if you are someone who is in a field that's constantly evolving, and in some cases it would be also true for some tech like AI and computer science, although it's a good idea to go to college and gain that initial experience, I think there are other options for you out there that you can gain more quality kind of education in, compared to the idea of how many years you have been in a prestigious or like a valued college. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to ask you what college you went to or what degree you have in. And if you have, but if they do ask you, if you tell them that you have a degree in something completely different than what you're working in, which is the case for 90% of the people in the decade after that you get out of college, you're working in a completely different field, and that's fine. But nobody's going to question you after that. Like, nobody's going to ask, did you major in biology if you just ended up wanting to do tech? And the answer is, people change and time evolves the economy and job industry. Sometimes you just get guided into those different industries and the opportunity comes up, and it's just so good to let go, and you sometimes want a career change. That's why people change. But the end point is, nobody's going to ask you what college you went to and what you learned. What they're going to ask you is, can you solve this problem for me? Do you have a solution for the approach that I'm trying to take, for the vision that I have to make me closer to that vision? And a lot of fields like I said, tech, computer science, IT, security, they are constantly evolving through all these things. Even marketing and other stuff that's constantly growing in economy and evolving. You do not need an educational degree per se. You can get anything else and have equal stuff. At the end of the day, it will come down to who you know and how much you know and how you can solve the problems of the specific company or the specific person or the specific industrial issue that's going on. So, step back and focus on value and quality, not quantity and people's definition of what's respected in society. Or let me word it better, people's outdated definition of what's valued in society. One of the biggest lessons that I have realized is, all of this is going to take you patience, and all of this is going to take time. Like, no matter how much you try to rush the process and graduate early and do this or that, you have to go through a certain sort and a certain bunch of experiences and lessons to be able to get to where you want to go. For example, me, and this applies to your personal life as well, and that's what I'm going to use here as well. I'll use two examples for you guys. One, for me, high school. Like I said, I did not join 20 different clubs like every single one of my friends was doing, because none of them have an internship right now. I love my friends, but they do not have any source of or way to gain experience. They're still with the old people. They're still trying to hustle hard and hustle their way through into college as well. I have secured internship. Why? Because I had a couple of programs and different things that I was constantly involved in. And that is my marketing program. I was involved in it for 4 years. And then another social media thing that I managed for one of the career clubs, because that's what my interest is. That's what I talk about on my platforms. I managed social media for a year and helped grow the account. So It's not about the quantity. I only was in 2 clubs or 2 extracurriculars, and this is what I've got in result. But you have to be patient. You have to go through that year of managing the social media. You have to go through those 4 years of attending the program in order to be able to say that, yes, I have done this, this, and this. You cannot, yes, you can. And you'll be amazing person. Yes, you can grow a social media in a month. And in that case, you have to go through that month in order to be able to say that, hey, I got it. For my second example, I'm going to use a personal example. I wanted to, and content creation is very personal to me. As much as I love to share valuable advice out there for people like me and people who want to achieve more and do more and get better constantly, it's very personal choice for me. Because I have waited, and to say I have wasted, actually, I have wasted 3 years trying to build up the courage to come on camera and say it in my least edited, maybe worst looking qualities and kind of video, but start. I was so afraid to start and put myself out there for 3 years that I've delayed content creation, and look where I'm at. I'm still in the start. Because guess what? If you don't start, you're always going to be there in the start. You have to start. And if this makes sense, this will make sense. If not, it's going to go above your head. Go listen to that again if you did not get it. But if you get it, you know what I mean. If you don't start, you're going to still be at the start. But if you do start, at least you will be somewhere in the middle on the way to achieve what you want. And that thing is going to take patience. That thing is going to take waiting. And you just have to be okay with that part. You have to be okay with that slow progress. Very few people are going to get it the first month that they do it. And good for them. I wish them luck. But if it's not you, buddy, it's 99% of the people. And it's okay. That means you are in the competition with 99% of people. But here's the catch. Here's the catch. Most of them quit. Just for you to keep going, you're already ahead in the game by I don't know how many percentage. You do the math. Patience and courage. That's the two things that you have to deal with, that you have to have in order to be at a place where you can say, hey, I'm qualified enough. Hey, I got this. Before I get into my tips on how to shift from hustling to actually work towards growing and getting that growth mindset in order for you to be able to achieve your goals more efficiently, of course, I'm going to tell you the tips because that's just iconic. But let me know if you have experienced this. You have worked super hard. You're putting yourself out there. You're spreading yourself too thin. And at the end of the day, you're achieving little to nothing. How does that feel? I know it must feel really bad. But the reason why I ask you is this is going to make you question what's working for you and not. It's okay for you to question and change things around. Because I know as a perfectionist, as a person who has very high expectations from yourself, the idea that you had in your head for the routine that you're going to have for the next, I don't know, whatever months that you're going to be hustling, because that's what everyone's promoting. Goes for 3 months, don't show up, hustle hard. And yes, it works in certain areas. It works in your Pilates because that's, it's proven to be work. But you have to be strategic about it. And you have to, end of the day, know what you're hustling for. Because if you don't have a direction, you're going to be lost. And then you know what your perfectionist self is going to tell you? You're a failure. But she is lying to you. He is lying to you. It's not you. It's just you need to be working towards growth. You have to be working with a mindset of growth, not hustle. So here are my iconic actionable tips that can help you shift from hustle mindset to growth mindset. Number 1, have pause days. And this is simply to get you started with having the idea that you don't need to be working your ass off in order for you to succeed. The reason why you're constantly working anxiously, like crazy hard on something, is because you internally feel that you are not going to get it. You're still doubting yourself. When you don't have that doubt, and when you know that what you're doing with the efforts that you're putting are super strong for you to be able to get it, you're slowly going to be okay with these pause days. You know why? Because pause days, like the pauses you take between your hustling, will train you, will try to convince you, will force you to convince yourself that, hey, even if I'm not constantly anxiously thinking about it, keeping it in my mind and working towards it, trying to just gather like there's a lack, I will get it because I'm challenging those thoughts. I'm challenging that no, there is not a lack, and what I have done is enough, and I'm resting to recharge myself so I can do double of what I've been doing while I was anxiously getting everything, trying to get everything done in one go and never rest. Tip number 2, train your brain to be proud of yourself, to be able to feel rewarded and fulfilled when you achieve things. And the reason why this is so important is because it gives you a will to keep going. Because at the end of the day, a certain amount of money, just the number, is not going to make you happy. It's what you can buy from that money that will make you happy. Have you ever even asked yourself why you want this much money? Do you even know the exact amount of money that you want? Why do you think that is? Because it's not the actual number of money, like a certain number of money you want, or a certain amount of assets you want. It's the freedom of time that comes with it, that gives you the freedom to actually work on and explore the hobbies, things, provide for your family, and not feel the pressure to be going in debt, is what you want. You want the privilege. So train yourself, give yourself that life. Not every now and then, every single time you achieve. If you were rich, if you tell me that even if if you're that math geek and you have calculated the exact number of money that you want, okay, and you have this number, let's say that you have achieved that number in your life, you have this much amount, let's say $100,000 in your bank account, do you still think you're going to be feeling okay with the mindset that you have right now to reward yourself or buy yourself a cake? Would you? Why? Because there is still a lack of mindset there. You're still in hustler mode. You're still thinking, if I spend on cake, I'm going to spend more on cake, and I'm going to spend more on things that are unnecessary, and then I'm going to lose all the money that I have. That is lack. That is hustle mindset. Now, growth mindset is, yes, today I'm going to buy cake because I have worked so hard and I finally achieved my goal of getting $100,000. And it's going to be a sign that I have done it once, so I can get the enough amount of money and even double again in my life. See the mindset shift, and that cake will be a sign that I have done it once and I can definitely do it again. It's all here. It's all here. And number 3, journal. And this is not because I'm biased, or this is not because, and I'm not saying only buy a new diary book and write until your hand like goes in pain. It could be anything. You can put your notes in your notes app. You can write your sticky notes and put it in a piggy bank, or and that you can open at the end of the year. You can make video vlogs like I am doing. You can do audio voice notes, whatever it is that works for you. But the reason why I ask you to document your things and your achievements somewhere is because it's going to force you to be intentional. It's going to force you to answer the questions, what it is that I'm working towards, and whether what I'm working on right now aligns with where I want to go. Because you are constantly influenced by a lot of people in your daily lives. You go to college, you meet a lot of different people. Your professors have different opinions on what you should be doing, what you should be focusing on. You have a lot of clubs that you get peer pressure into going. Some of them you're just exploring, but you get into a lot of things. You get yourself involved in a lot of things, which can take your time away and make you sometimes blur out what your end goal is. Like, for example, for me, content creation, when I'm out on a long day and I'm hanging out with friends, I'm on a college visit, or whatever it is I'm doing, I'm very much less likely to record content consciously for my content creation, because I'm constantly surrounded by people who are not creating content. And that is a me thing I need to work on. But the reason why I know this is because I have documented this on one of my video notes for myself earlier, and now I can be intentional about it when I go out, and I know that I need to record some of the things because I can use it for my content later. This is simply for you to keep yourself in track when the entire world's noise is kinda making you lose your own. That's all for now. I love giving you guys my tips, and I hope I make them understandable for you. Like always, I tell you, I really want you to succeed, and I would love for you to know what you want to see more from me and how I can make my content better to fit your needs, because I love recording my thoughts, but what I love more is my thoughts that are actually helping you. So let me know, and also if you feel comfortable, either DM me on TikTok or let me know here down below what it is that you're working towards. How are you planning to shift from hustle mindset to growth mindset? Did anything help? Is something you're taking away? What are your goals in life? Just let me know. We can build a great community, because I love people, and I would love to see you succeed in your journey. And if I know about you, I'll be able to celebrate you, and that just be great. Other than that, that's all for this video. Come back for my next video next Saturday. For now, take care.